Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started. I'm just going to check my volume here. We have a few people just clicking in. So I'd like to welcome you back to the Goal Setting and Digital Marketing series. My name is Maria Barakat. We are going to get going. A few housekeeping items. Today's session, as you know, for those of you that have been on here every week, we record them and they will be available to you. I will keep this under 30 minutes. Hopefully, we have a lot to go through. We are on Zoom. You are on mute. And if you have any questions, it's just easier if you email me them, and I'm happy to respond. We have some new people here this week. Welcome. My name is Maria Barakat. I'm a social media trainer and a consultant, and my focus is completely on this buyer's journey. And today, it's going to be very applicable to reviews because the topic is really, really important. So we're going to talk about the power of reviews. We're going to talk about the impact that they have on your revenue, the marketing benefits, where to get them, and the next steps that you need to take. Now remember, we're going to keep this at 30 minutes, so there's quite a bit of data that I want to give you. So the power of a review is really statistics, right? 90% of people read them before visiting a business. So these are statistics from Ford, Pew Research, Google, people who know, right? So we're going to go in and we're going to take a look at some reviews and we're going to decide, do I really want to go to this business? And if there's, a lot of reviews, if there, how many stars are there, there's various ways that we look at them. 84% of people trust them. And they actually trust them as a personal recommendation. We live in a digital economy, and even though someone we know comes to us and says, hey, Maria, I loved Alcatraz Island, go and visit it, I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to find out what other people think. 48,000 people in this specific instance, because I trust that. Maybe I don't always trust someone that I know personally because I don't really know where they go and what they do in their private time. So this is something that's very important when you think about word of mouth. People will say to me, oh, I don't need to worry about reviews because I get word of mouth referrals. Well, a word of mouth referral can come from a digital review. We don't really distinguish that anymore. 72% of customers say that positive reviews make them trust the local business more. So we look at the review and we see what's here, and there's a way that we evaluate it. We don't expect 5 stars all the time. We don't expect thousands. We do expect real. And so we're looking at that, and it's important to us to view it. 90% of people search online prior to making a purchase. So this is definitely true for online purchases, but this statistic by multiple places is all visits, all channels. Whether we come into your business, whether we buy online, whether we call you, whether we enroll in your program, whatever it is that we do, we look at these reviews. And it's not just millennials, it's not just 20-somethings. This is something that all people are doing in some way or another. So even if you're not on a review site and you say, well, I never go on Yelp at all, you're still looking. You're still trying to gather information. 66% of consumers trust reviews posted online. So this can mean a lot of things. Online can mean Yelp, TripAdvisor, it can be Google, but it can also be someone writing a review about you in a blog, or maybe they see it on some other site that maybe you're not familiar with. People talk about you, and we take action on those reviews. So some people will actually see a positive review, no matter where it is or whether they come across it, and it will compel them to go and look at that business because they want to see what it is that other people like. This is very true of Yelp. Yelp is a site that's completely dedicated to the review process. So it's a very important statistic to think about. And I'm repeating these over and over because a lot of people really don't understand the true power of it. And this is probably the most important thing. this hasn't changed in marketing or business probably since the beginning of time. When we're not happy, we let people know, right? So when the old statistic was, one person has a great experience, they might tell 1, 2, or 3 people. But if we're upset, we're going to tell people. We're going to let them know. And I have actually seen reviews where someone didn't experience it, they're relaying it from someone else. And it's usually like a child to a parent who's not online all the time. And it's not a great review, but it does happen. So this is what it's all about, your buyer's journey. Every stage that a consumer goes through to find you, to research you, to make a decision whether or not we're going to come in, we're going to enroll, we're going to purchase it, how we experience this, and whether or not we're going to advocate for you. And advocate can be just word of mouth, where I come into an office and I say, hey, I really like this place, come and visit it. Or I'm going to go on Yelp and I'm going to leave that review. Or I'm going to leave it everywhere. I gave 2 millennial trainings recently. And if you were on them, you know that millennials actually feel obligated to leave feedback, to leave their opinion about it because they value it so much. So this process is really, really critical. Reviews all the way up to here. Before they even contact you in many cases, they're looking to see if there are any and what they are. Then we're experiencing who you are and what you have to offer. And this is where the mathematical process comes in. Do I like them? Maybe the website wasn't so great, but they had a lot of really good data, and I really liked the person who helped me or whatever it was, and I'm calculating it. And now I'm going to leave you that review. So how I do it can change the game for you. This is more a realistic of what I would call a buyer's journey. And I love the emojis because we live in a very emoji-driven society. And you're not going to have lovey eyes all the time. There's just no way. The exceptional service is not always at the high. Some things are going to glitch. Maybe the website times out. Maybe you're closed and they really wanted to come in today and they forgot that it was 4th of July. This can make people angry, but that's not your fault. So it's an overall cumulative experience that a review is based on, hopefully. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's unfair. I'm going to tell you how to beat those. So this process is really critical. How does it impact? Well, according to Forbes magazine and Right Now Technologies that does a lot of research, 89% of consumers stop doing business with a company following a poor experience. Now, this can be their own experience. Most likely, that's true. But it can also mean an experience that they're reading about consistently. So, and I have done this myself. I have been to businesses that I absolutely love, and I've moved around a lot. And when I go back home, first thing I do is I take a look at it again. And I say, did they change? How do I know if they changed? I can go in and I can look at it. And if I see consistently bad reviews, I'm going to stop going there. Yelp, very powerful. Every 1-star increase in Yelp means 5 to 9% increase in revenue. This is a statistic from Bloomberg. So they're tracking it. They're trying to see. Yelp is not just a restaurant review site anymore. It reviews literally everything that's out there on the market. And it's something that you need to take a look at, because every time you get more reviews, your revenue is going to go up. But the more positive reviews you get, the more it balances out. And I'm even going to show you, let's say you don't have a great review, how you can fix that. How does that work? Again, advocates. So we used to tell 3 people, right? Hey, I had a great time. What's going on? But now we don't. Now we go on all sorts of different social media, and we have hundreds and hundreds of friends. So maybe they're not all looking at what I've posted, but it's going to capture a good percentage of them. They're going to come in and they're going to see what it is that my experience is. And it may not be star related. It may just be a photograph. We love to take photographs of our food. It's just what we love to do, right? Our new shoes on our feet, something we hung on our wall, something that we experienced. These are types of reviews that you need to think about that customers share. You risk losing 22% of your business when somebody finds a negative piece on you. And this can be an article, it can be a review, it could be something negative. So we know the things that are on the 6 o'clock news, right? This person came in and tons of people are leaving positive and negative reviews based on what's going on. But it's very important that you pay attention. And this is something in our to-do list that becomes more critical. I think this statistic is hands down the best. And this is from Pew Research. They do research on every single thing that we do in humanity. 86% of people will pay more money for a better customer experience. So critical when people say to me, how can I compete with Amazon? They have such great prices. Amazon is not the only place that people shop. Actually, Amazon is more a place where we compare, right? We are a value-based society now. We want a better experience. So it's not just that you have a beautiful website or that your business is gorgeous or that the service or the product that you're giving me is great. We also want to be treated well. We want to have a good experience finding you, researching you, purchasing you, and experiencing what it is that you have as a customer. And this is where I think a lot of businesses fail today, is we live in such a digital world, we forgot about good old customer service. 45% of people said that they found something online that made them decide not to go to a business, not to deal with a person, hire a person, purchase from a person, right? This is a negative experience. But 56% also found something that solidified that decision. So when you think about that buyer's journey and we're aware of a product, we research that product. The decision making can happen right there. People will change their mind as they're in the store. They will pick up their cell phone and they will look to see what other people thought of this product. Should I buy this little desk fan? Oh, look, there's so many negative reviews. Maybe I shouldn't do it. So they came in to do this, to buy this service, and now they're second guessing themselves. So I think you understand that it's critical how we view it. It affects your revenue because it affects your visibility. So how do we become aware of a business? Somebody tells us, we go and look it up. Or we go to Google and we ask Google questions, right? Near me is the number one thing that it just populates itself now. And it automatically knows that I live in Seal Beach. And it's saying, hey, these are the top 3 places that we want you to go. Because these 3 places have reviews on Google. So they may have a dynamite review on Yelp or on Facebook or somewhere else. But if you don't have any reviews on Google, you're not going to populate where you should. I'm going to have to click this little button that says more places. And we all know how that works. If it's below the line, we tend not to go there. And we rarely go to the second page unless we're really detail oriented. We're going to be clicking. We're going to pull up this map and you'll notice that the businesses that have the big bullets are the ones that have reviews. You'll also notice one other interesting thing. The best 10 gift shops in Seal Beach, California, updated July 2018. This is not, somebody didn't write an article on this. This is just what they do. So they're taking the top reviews in certain product categories. So Chinese food or men's shoes or whatever the product is, or the activity or the service now. Best preschools in Seal Beach. And they're going to populate that right here. So by not having reviews, you hurt yourself in that initial awareness process where you're trying to get people to know that you're here. A lot of people will worry that it's just Google, but it's not really just Google that affects your overall ranking. The marketing benefits, I think we were talking about them, but I want to talk about something called social proof. A couple of weeks ago, I did an Instagram training. And one of those interesting things that Instagram has found is that if a particular post doesn't have a lot of people who have liked it, you're more apt not to like it. It's called social proof. But we call social proof because consumers don't trust website content. Only about 16% of what we when we're considering whether or not we're going to work with a business or buy from that business or go in and visit it, we look at the website as a sales piece. It's not something that's customer related. Credibility comes from one consumer to another, and it can be face to face, but we look at online reviews as if we were standing right in front of someone. And this person is saying, well, I'd give them a 3-star because of this, this, and this. And we will trust this person. We will trust their opinion because there's various ways. There's a whole psychology behind it. The other benefit is obviously your marketing content. You can and should use your reviews. You should use them in posts and in your content on your website, your printed materials. You should always be citing what people say about you. There always should be a section called what do your customers have to say? What do your clients have to say about you? And change them and move them around. You don't have to put every single one, but you do need to put the ones that are applicable to the business that you have. Holistic viewpoint. This is that buyer's journey. We're not just looking at one aspect. We're not just looking at this product and saying, this pen cost me this much. It worked. That's a quality factor. But I'm looking at everything about it. Let's say I had a problem with it. Did they help me? Did they follow up with me? Especially service-based industries forget that people want to be appreciated all the time. They want you to thank them. They want you to include them in your special club. Have a card, have an email. It's the overall experience that affects this reviewing system. Not in every case, of course. There's always that person who may have had a 5-star experience the whole time, and then one day an employee looks at them funny, and they go in and they give you a 1-star review. It happens, but there's a way to get by that too. Reviews are also a way to set yourself apart. In a digital economy, we have tremendous competition. What I do for a living, there are so many more qualified people who have the same title that I do. But I have set myself apart by doing a very narrow part of business. I want to work with people who are not coming to me and talking to me in terminology, marketing terminology that, even I have to look up sometimes. I want to work with small businesses. I want to work with certain kinds of businesses. You can set yourself apart by that. So if you're saying you have the best price in town and you don't have the best price in town, you're not going to get a great review. Customers want to write reviews if you stood out to them in some way. So you need to look at your competition and you need to say, here they are. What makes you different from Amazon if you're so worried about Amazon? What is it? Do you have really great salespeople? Do you have a club? Do you know more? Is it a personal experience? What is it that sets you apart? These are the things that you can ask people for in your reviews. And it's obviously the things that people are going to write about. What it is that is your real difference. Your expertise is what I like to call it. What makes you different? And are you giving that to people every single time? Are you giving it to them on their website? Are you giving them to them in articles? Can I find you? When I come in, is everybody nice to me? It's important. And the other really critical thing is your brand identity. How you respond, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, is critical because it says something about your personality and who you are and what you do. So nothing is wrong with a bad review. Really. It's kind of like research for you. I had a problem. I went into a restaurant. I ordered something. They brought it to me. It was like, wait a minute, this doesn't even look like what it looked like before. If you're paying attention, you can fix the problem, right? When I was speaking about millennials having an obligation and feeling obligated, this is what they feel obligated about. I'm going to tell the owner. When they're leaving a review that's negative, they are talking to the owner of that business. The problem is most people aren't looking and most people aren't responding. It's your voice. It says something about you as a business. It builds trust, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down. So how are you responding when I'm down? How are you doing this? What is it that's coming here? It's all about transparency. Old school business used to stand behind big billboards of marketing information and fancy photos. We don't do that anymore. We want to see behind the scenes. You want to see what's on my desk, what's going on, who am I, what's happening. We want that mix. We do not expect all 5-star reviews. In fact, businesses that have all 5-star reviews, we look at a little skeptical because not everybody gives a 5-star review. We always had, didn't you have that boss who never gave you outstanding? Never, no matter how outstanding you thought you were. They just never could hit that high mark. So it's important. We want you to respond to everything good and bad, and that's really, really critical. Where do you get reviews? Yelp and Facebook are the most trusted review sites, hands down. Followed by Google, which is kind of surprising, and then the Better Business Bureau. I caution you, these aren't the only ones. You have to kind of look to see where in your industry. So I work with a lot of schools. Schools have their own review sites that tend to be popular, and there's brand new ones that come out all the time. So you have to actually Google reviews on, and then fill in the blanks on what kind of business you have. And you may have to see, you might have 10 on your list. Google, I'm doing first because everyone should have a Google business page. First of all, it gives you a map. That's probably the most important aspect of it. But it also, if you have any reviews, it's going to populate you up near the top. It's going to bring you up. It's going to give you that larger bullet that's there. That's very, very important. So Google is an important one. Yelp, we talk about, a lot of people argue with me. It is not just a restaurant site anymore. You can find dentists, opticians, preschools, chiropractors, car repair, everything. We want to go to Yelp. It's a very easy site to use. It can link directly to the website. It can link directly to the Google Maps. It can get us there. We can hit the button and call directly. You can set up appointments through Yelp. There's a lot of advantages to it. But you need to be looking at it and you need to be responding to it. Your Facebook business page, very, very important that you have a page and that you have at least one review that's going to populate up here in the right-hand corner. I encourage people to do it. Not everybody goes here, but when I search for a business and I go online, if I'm looking for an event in my town and I happen to be on Facebook, this is the first thing that comes up. So it's going to have the name of this business, and then it's going to have the review right underneath it. So some people will just, that's all I need. Confirmation, go. TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is a site that, originally started as hotels and vacation rentals and still their primary business. But Things to Do is growing at a rapid pace. It is incredible, the amount of businesses that are in here, the types of businesses that are in here. And I am just shocked at how many people are not even looking at it, especially if you're in a small town, and you need visitors to come in to where you are, where your business is located. This is very important. I wouldn't say a lot of professional services are on here. And actually, I don't even know if there are any, but it's something to look at to see if your competitors are there. And then, of course, the Better Business Bureau. So you can actually go in to verify any information that's on you, and you want to respond. Better Business Bureau is one of those companies that will let you know that you got a review on here. They're probably the only one. and you want to just go in and do it. People still look at it. It's not like it's that outdated anymore. Some steps that you should take. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as friends, right? You've seen this number kind of 84 to 90. It kind of depends on who they're surveying, but I would say that this is probably a very true number. I usually say about 75% of people out there will trust the reviews. So after a customer makes a purchase from you, what do? It should be immediate that you're emailing them, that you're thanking them, that you're welcoming them, and that you're asking their opinion about something. You don't maybe have to do a survey, but it does really help. And if it's part of your customer service process, it makes me, the consumer, feel happy about that. Bad reviews. So bad reviews are actually an opportunity and not a problem. People fear them. They're like, oh my God, I got a 1-star review. What am I going to do? Think about what happened to American Airlines last summer. The gentleman who got dragged out of the plane, right? They totally handled it wrong. Their response was the party line. This doesn't happen to us. They did that day after day after day. And finally, they went and they gave a genuine response. You need to be on top of these. A negative response is a way for you to improve your customer service. And that's what you tell the consumer. Take it offline. Don't have this very public conversation, but you need to respond. You need to be there because we're looking to see if the business owner, the manager, the director is there paying attention. And don't forget, reviews vary, right? Americans tend to be more positive. We give more 5-star reviews than, say, the British do. So it just depends on the makeup of the customers that you have. Age definitely is a difference. You know, younger people, you know, the demographics of people, you just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. And by digital use. So some people aren't really very digitally savvy. So as you look at those reviews, you have to sort of determine, is this someone that's online, offline? And you can tell, there's just ways that you can tell, and you can respond to them in that way. So take it with a grain of salt, but also be aware of what's happening. Now, how do you get more reviews? That's what I'm going to talk about next week, because it's a whole process of online versus offline phones, and I'm going to give you the complete way that you should go out and start asking for reviews immediately. It'll be turnkey. So that'll be next Thursday at the same time. For those of you that are new, I'd love to end with a reflection process. So are you listening to what customers are saying online? When somebody says social listening, this is what they're talking about. Are you really getting the feedback that you need? Don't look at it as an attack on your business. Look at it as feedback to improve. But you have to know where to go, and you need to have a system to do it, and you need to be doing it all the time. Our weekly questions. How many new emails did you add to your list? You should know this. You should know your total sales of the week, moving up and down, but more importantly, are the purple pens selling more than the black pens? This is important for you to shift your mix. Does everyone in your business know about your promos and your ads? You will be surprised. When I did the millennial training twice. Collaboration is the #1 reason that millennials quit jobs, because we're not doing it. We don't work in a hierarchical system anymore. You need to incorporate everybody. You need to know who your fans are. You need to know what your most popular piece of content was on each different place that you post it. And this is your most engaged follower. This is your advocate. Who are they? How do you treat them? Do you have a club? What is it that you're doing for them? Because that's how you improve customer service, by asking them, by talking to them, by looking at those reviews and having a process that follows afterwards. I want to thank you for being here. This is, again, I know there's several new people on. We really try to keep it under 30 minutes. We're going to talk about how to ask for reviews. So in this week, I would go out and find them. I would screenshot them, put them in your notebook, determine what the sites are, figure out in your industry where people are leaving them, and I would create a strategy. Because next week, I'm going to have you go out to get them, but it's also a way to respond to people that you forgot about. If there's a review that's been sitting there for 365 days and you didn't even know that they gave you a 1-star review, how you respond and reach out. You may not get that one person back, but if I view that, it's going to make me think, hey, so they blew it, but now they're on top of it. And that says something about you. That's the branding voice that we were talking about before. So thank you so much for being on every week. I really appreciate it. We're back on schedule after vacations, and I'm really looking forward to next week. So if you have any questions, email me, Maria at Design Bureau Marketing. I'm happy to talk to you about your business and talk to you more about the buyer's journey. That's my thing, and I love it. So have a great week ahead, and I will see you next week.